Hey everybody, welcome back to the Extreme Weather Zone. We're less than a day away from the April 8th total solar eclipse. So in this video, we're going to be looking at a detailed eclipse forecast for the cloud cover, and it doesn't look good in Texas. And also, we're going to be live streaming a simulation of the eclipse as it's happening. So be sure to tune in for that tomorrow. And also, we're going to be looking at the severe weather. There's going to be multiple days of severe weather as we go into an extreme weather pattern. But first, if you're new here, please be sure to like the video and hit the subscribe button for more detailed weather updates. So first, as I said, we're less than a day away from the eclipse. It pretty much starts in 18 hours or so. And so let's look at the cloud forecast. And right now, actually, there's quite a bit of clouds in Texas already, as we have this kind of low pressure system here, and then I guess kind of frontal sort of system, but it's really falling apart actually, and then it just kind of, we have these high clouds kind of just feeding in below this system. And so then the thing is that there's going to be a lot of clouds in Texas during the eclipse, and it doesn't look good. So you see the red line kind of shows where the totality is, and yeah, in southern Texas, where most of the people are going to see the eclipse, because climatologically this should be the best location to see the eclipse, but it's pretty much going to be cloudy there, at least mostly cloudy. And this is the National Weather Service blend of models. And it shows 86% cloudy along the path of totality down in Texas. And this is a zoomed out view. You can see that in Arkansas, Missouri, it looks a little better, but it's almost like there's these clouds trying to follow the path of totality. It's like that's exactly what we don't want to see. But funny enough, the Northeast, like Maine, which is climatologically going to be probably one of the cloudiest places along the path, that's actually going to be the clearest. So it's kind of interesting how that works. And also near Buffalo, New York, it's also going to be cloudy there. And the thing is, this is San Antonio, 86% cloudy, and then you could also see places in this area where people would really be viewing from this kind of general area, especially because this is actually closer to the place with the longest totality, and a lot of people were going here. It's going to be pretty cloudy. Now, it only takes one cloud to ruin the eclipse for people so they can't see where the sun is, but also if there's a break in the clouds, that'll be a good thing. But you'll still be able to see it go dark. You just won't be able to see the really exciting part of the eclipse, seeing the sun completely covered. But yeah, it's gonna be really, really cloudy in Texas, and then further north, it doesn't look as bad. Like over near Dallas, maybe 57% cloudy. This is still in the mostly cloudy category. But really, as you go a bit further up into maybe Arkansas, maybe it goes down to like 20% cloudy, which is a lot better. Now, this is the short-range forecast ensemble, and it shows 100% cloudy in southern Texas, possibly. That's going to be really bad. You won't be able to see anything. But other places along the path, it's going to be like mostly sunny to partly sunny, and pretty much clear in Maine. And this is the same thing, shows San Antonio 100% cloudy. This is the 100% zone, goes into where NASA, I guess, would be in Kerrville, Texas, and place like that, where a lot of people were actually going there to see the eclipse. Looks like it's going to be 90 to 100% cloudy there, potentially, which is pretty bad. But places like up near Dallas, maybe only 30% cloud cover, which would be a good thing. And this is the North American model, the NAM model, showing some really high clouds kind of feeding in, and then you get thunderstorms that are supposed to develop, because this is going to also, right after the eclipse, you're going to have severe weather that's going to last for several days, and almost in the same area, as we'll see in a few minutes. But so there's going to be some high clouds, and the thing is, here's a sounding during the eclipse from sort of near where a lot of people would be in Texas watching this eclipse, and there's a potential for tornadoes. There's favorable conditions for tornadoes already at that time, and that's pretty bad. But I don't think there's going to be, like, severe thunderstorms or anything developing right then. Later on, yes, but not right then. But you could see that down at the low levels, you have a lot of moisture, and funny enough, the winds really low to the ground, they're coming in from the southeast, and then these winds shift to the west southwest as you go up a few miles into the atmosphere. But you can have some high clouds, but it's going to be those lower level moisture that's going to be in place, and then you have some kind of dry air at the mid levels, which will lead to severe weather. This is a dry line kind of setup, and this is the HRRR showing. This would be right around the time with the eclipse. This is the HRRR showing during the eclipse. It could be totally overcast. Now, I think the HRRR is overdoing it, but this is showing completely cloudy over pretty much most of Texas. So that would be really bad if that actually does happen, because people won't be able to see much of anything. And this is the thing, because you have a lot of low level moisture coming in, this warm, moist air coming in behind this kind of dry line setup, and then after that, you're going to have an explosion of severe weather that blows up over the same areas for multiple days in a row. And this is kind of what it looks like right now. You have this kind of, it's not really a front, because the temperatures are actually about the same. If we compare the temperatures are on each side. Maybe it's sort of a cold front here, but you could see that at one point it's like the temperatures are similar on each side, if not warmer on the west side of this, with what you're going to see here. And you can see that those dew points, you have this really moist air off to the east of this kind of dry line setup. And the thing is, there is actually today, there's a slight risk of severe weather for this kind of area because of this, but it's a really small slight risk. This is not a big severe weather day today, but for tomorrow it is. And you can see these are some extremely high dew points. This is crazy. You have dew points in the mid 70s. This is going to be extremely humid, moist air that's going to lead to some significant severe weather. And then you could see what's interesting is that dry air kind of comes down, but then you start getting some at the surface, that warm, moist air comes into that, and that's what's going to lead to severe weather. But there's going to be low clouds. Possibly people were thinking there's going to be the potential for fog or really low clouds that would come in during the eclipse, along with the high clouds. That's going to really mess things up for people to view the eclipse. But yeah, I think is that there's going to be a lot of clouds in Texas that's going to interfere with the eclipse. That's pretty much what it looks like. But we're going to be live streaming a simulation of the eclipse, and so you'll be able to see what it looks like, even if it's cloudy where you are, or if you're not in the path of totality at all and you weren't going to travel to see it. You can see a simulation of what it looks like here on the channel. So the thing is, we also have severe weather. So right after the eclipse, you're going to have a lot of severe weather, especially in northern Texas, the northern part of Texas, and also a little bit of Oklahoma and surrounding states like Louisiana and Arkansas. But this is a 5% chance of tornadoes, so they're not really thinking of a big tornado event, but a lot of hail. This is some large hail, a 30% significant chance of hail with a 15% significant chance around that in northern Texas and southern Oklahoma, also into northwestern Louisiana. That's for tomorrow. And then we have a day 3 outlook of severe weather, a slight risk of severe weather for Tuesday. And then this continues, and notice this is not really moving that much. It's kind of starts in central northern Texas and then kind of goes a little bit further east on Tuesday, and then it kind of really starts moving on Wednesday. This is kind of along the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida Panhandle, eastern Texas. This kind of starts moving eastward, and then it continues in the southeast on Thursday. And so this kind of goes over the same areas for a while, and you have the jet stream. You can see that you have this kind of trough over the western U.S. that starts moving eastward, and that's going to help spin up a lot of severe weather. Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's the jet stream over the next 3 days or so, and it moves slowly with this favorable pattern for severe weather. The HRRR showing there's kind of a thin line of storms that goes all the way from maybe Illinois down into Texas, and then that kind of pushes eastward. Then what happens is you see it goes down, and then you start getting that moisture coming in, and then it blows up a lot of severe weather kind of coming in from western Texas, kind of further south, and then it kind of combines. You have a lot of severe weather here, and then it kind of comes in waves that keep going. And this is the NAM model. It goes out a little further, shows the same thing. You have an initial amount of severe weather that shows up Monday evening and then continues into Tuesday, and then kind of forms again in the same areas on Wednesday. So this is going to lead to a lot of severe weather, a lot of also heavy rain, probably flooding. And if you look at this continues, and then it pushes eastward on Thursday. But this is pretty favorable for severe weather because you have a lot of instability, because all that moisture, you're going to have some really high instability. This is over 3,000 joules a kilogram of CAPE in Texas. And so that's pretty unstable, and this is going into Monday evening, and then it's still a lot of instability there. And then so that was the HRRR. This is the NAM model, showing this is just surface-based CAPE. It's showing a lot of CAPE. This is even 3,500 to even possibly in some areas approaching 4,000 joules a kilogram of CAPE. So, and then it does get capped, at night, but then it really starts to erupt again on Tuesday. The mid-level pattern is favorable for that, having that severe weather, but they're not really thinking it's going to be a big tornado event, but there is a lot of churning with height with those winds. So yeah, and then you do have a slight. The low level jet is not that strong until you get to actually. Well, that would be Tuesday, Monday night, Tuesday morning. You'd have this extremely strong 60 knot or 70 mile an hour low level jet. That's not really. I don't know, that could fuel some severe weather, but we'll see. But this is the supercell composite, and this shows a lot of supercell composite over Texas after that eclipse. It really just fires up the severe weather machine, as you have supercell composite 10 to 15 in a lot of places, but even a 7 to a 10 is favorable for supercells, and that continues over the same area for a while. And then this is the STP, the significant tornado parameter. It's not that extreme. Like, you could actually see that where the dry line is holding it back, and then it does get pretty intense once you get towards, after the eclipse and into Monday evening, Monday night. You do have some pretty high. There could be some tornadoes with this, but it's not extreme, but it is pretty high on Monday night. But this is the helicity tracks, and this shows where they think, or at least the model thinks, that there's going to be a lot of rotating storms. And you have over Texas quite a few rotating storms in that northern part of Texas, where that enhanced risk would be kind of in this area is where it does look most favorable. And then it will also extend slightly eastward on Tuesday before it really pushes further east Wednesday and Thursday. But then the dew points, are of course just extremely favorable, as you have continuously all this moisture coming in, and you have dry air trying to hit it. That will really produce severe weather when you have that warm, moist air coming in, and you have the dry line coming into that. That's definitely going to lead to severe weather. But you have dew points in the mid 70s. That's super favorable. We're going into an extreme weather pattern with this, because you have that system, and then that system is supposed to, by Thursday, it becomes a pretty big system, and then you have a lot of warm air that's coming in, because this is tropical, basically tropical air. As you see the thickness lines, it are showing some really warm air coming in, trying to come into the south and the Gulf Coast area. And then you do have colder air that does get pulled down behind that, but you see there's more and more warm temperatures over time coming in, except then and this is over the next couple weeks. This is the AI Euro model kind of showing you do have colder temperatures trying to come into the west again, and then it just looks like probably a pretty dramatic weather pattern with several storms that will probably have the potential for severe weather over the next couple weeks. It looks like there's a ridge that could really amplify in the western U.S., because as the current satellite imagery was showing, you actually had kind of more troughing over the western U.S., which has led to below average temperatures, actually, for the past few days. And there's even been extreme amounts of small hail in some locations from that, and that's going to move east and lead to our severe weather event. And then, after that, you have this huge ridge that tries to build in, but then you have another trough, kind of, or really a cutoff low, kind of coming into the southwest, and then that could probably lead to more severe weather. So you just have like this, pretty amplified weather pattern over the next couple weeks, and you can see these temperatures really go up and down. But you have, at some point, you're going to have a lot of heat expand into most of the U.S., and then colder air try to come down into that, and then you have severe weather and a lot of storms from that. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what all happens. Yeah, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like the video and comment below, share the video, subscribe to the channel for more detailed weather updates. We're going to be live streaming the total solar eclipse tomorrow. Be sure to tune in for that. Until next time, Extreme Weather Zone